As soon as we do that, we lose the ability to connect with people with empathy, compassion, and genuine understanding of what they're really going through. From 14 to 18, I was like this kid who just wanted to try new things out. And at 18, I was really fortunate when I met a monk. And this monk was invited to speak. At that time, I was listening to CEOs and entrepreneurs and business people and marketers who I thought that's what I was aspiring to be like. And then I hear this monk, and he captivated me like no one had ever captivated me before. It was like staring at the most beautiful woman on the planet. You know, I was completely fixated on him and his message. That was the beginning of what changed me. Because I went from being someone who did only want all those things to become successful, but I started hearing my own inner voice much more in all that noise that I had around me. I remember one of my parents had a maths tutor for me because they wanted to be amazing at maths. And I was pretty good at numbers, and I'd have this tutor and he'd tell me that, he goes, the reason that you're struggling with the next question is because you're always worried about what your parents think. And that really stayed in my head. I was just like, wow, so as long as I'm trapped by what my parents think, I can actually never find the answers to the real questions of life.
If success is something that you really want to achieve, you have to make sure that you're always in a winning mindset and figuring out the best way to improve upon yourself to make sure that you do better than the time before. Whether that means waking up in the morning and figuring out something to improve upon or fix or change, or that means you go to bed and know what you want to do the next day. Whatever it is, just make sure that you're constantly trying to better yourself and always win the day. That can look vastly different for each person, but what it really means is whether you wake up in the morning and you want to do something that is going to improve your day, improve your life, and improve your situation, or do something that's negatively going to hurt it, you don't want to do the latter, because that will only inhibit your growth and your knowledge and your way to grow and learn to become successful and be that person that you want to be every single day. Because winners do the best thing for their situation, while losers just don't. They give up and they stop when things get hard. So to become successful, you have to make sure that you put in the work even when it's really hard and challenging and you don't feel like doing it, and it's going to be tough and it's going to be challenging even when you fail. Because when you fail, everybody thinks you just didn't do it. You're just a failure. But that's a great learning tool for you to learn what not to do and how you're going to react and how you're going to build yourself back up from the failures and figure out a way to even become more successful because of that failure. And so many people enjoy failing because they get to learn so much.
We did that because so much of our lives today are separate, disconnected. We have left and right, black and white. We have things that we love to do. We have things that we have to do. We have things that we look forward to and can't wait for. Then there are things that we wish. And then we have this thing called work. Then we have this thing called life. We have this thing called family. We have this thing called friends. And this constant disconnect, disharmony in our life creates more and more friction within ourselves, within our organizations, and then eventually the wider community and even the world. Mindset 2 is a bit more about how much we have to unlearn about ourselves. How many of you have ever been told by your boss that you're too slow? How many of you have been ever told by your boss that you're too bossy? How many of you have been ever told that you annoy other people when you work really fast and diligently? This is your opportunity to unlearn what you've been told about yourself. Or how many of you go through that process where you start watching something really educational on YouTube and you end up getting lost in this world? And so whether it's in a small way of getting lost through the content, for me, refining my intentions on a daily basis is one of my favorite habits. And so what I do every day is I'll look at the plethora of options that I have available, all of the things, whether it's deals, ideas, thoughts, projects, offers, whatever it is. And on top of all of them, I'll write down why I would do that. And if the reason is often ego, pride, envy, competition, jealousy, and sometimes it's compassion, love, joy, passion, purpose, meaning, fulfillment. And so what I like to do is I like to refine my intentions, which I class as seeds and weeds every day. So I want to plant more seeds in the garden of my life. Seeds are things that are like compassion, love, purpose, fulfillment, meaning, joy, service. When we do things out of ego, envy, competition. And so every day I'm plucking out the weeds out of my life. I'm trying to plant more seeds. We underestimate what it feels like to be in a place where people have meditated for hundreds of thousands of years. Like, places take on energy. And that place was a place where people have meditated, those two monasteries, for like 40 years in that space for over 4 hours a day. So you're like walking into like the most spiritual, sacred atmosphere in the world. you only tap into that more. You know, when we go to a place, we know what it feels like when you've been on a stage that Michael Jackson performed at, or the analogy that works for you. It was like walking into the arena of the monks. Like everything you expect a spiritual atmosphere to contain, you're getting that. It's amazing. So yeah, it was 4 to 5:15 is group meditation. Then 5:15 to 7 is private meditation. So that's your personal practice. So that's already 3 hours since you've been awake, right? 7 o'clock till 7:30 is group meditation, and then 7:30 to 8:30 is a wisdom class on the Vedas. So the Vedas are 5,000 years old, linguistically and philosophically the oldest books on the planet, and so you're trained in the Vedas for an hour.
Thank you all so much for watching this video. If you haven't already, please go ahead and like this video. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you're new, and let us know what you thought down in the comment section down below.